radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
All right. Good evening. How you doing? Fade to Black. Today is Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. Let's do this, man. Yeah, you know what's going on. Help support the show. Get yourself a Fade to Black T-shirt. 2 links below. Get a Game Changer membership or just get a T-shirt. There's 2 shirts, 2 ways to get them. Everything is autographed. Everything includes shipping. The links are below. How you doing? It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Now, here we go. Tonight is an AJA, and I'm doing this because I leave town tomorrow. I'm heading to Peru and Bolivia. That's right. And it's going to be an amazing couple of weeks. And I want to just remind everybody, we will be back on the air December 2nd, which is a Monday. Okay, I get back like Thursday or Friday or something like that, right before that. But that's our next show. I'm going to be live streaming from Peru and Bolivia, and I'll be hanging out with all of you. I'm taking my microphones and all of my stuff with me, and it's going to be really cool. So live streaming from Puma Punku. I'm going to make that happen. All right. And then coming up after that's the Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles. That is February 7th through the 10th, 2025 at the LAX Hilton. Links are below. After that, Rise of the Guardians, March 29th and 30th, 2025, Sedona, Arizona. Links for that are below. Coming up after that, I'm heading to the Midwest. That's right, the Contact Modalities Expo. And that is May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 2025 in Delavan, Wisconsin at Delavan Lake. Beautiful resort, an amazing list of speakers. More to be added, too, as well. It's already amazing. All right. And I just found out. Now, I'm going to go and try to find me a Cracker Barrel or a Waffle House in Delavan, right? It's the Midwest. White Castle. If I can do all 3, I will. I just found out today there is a Cracker Barrel in Victorville, California. It's about 100 miles away, 75 miles away, but close enough. Worth the drive. Worth the drive. All right. Tonight, let's just get straight to it. AMAAJA, ask me anything. Post your questions in the chat. Put them in all caps for me, please. And I will try to get to everything tonight. I just want to hang out with all of you and wrap this and turn around and think about this show while I'm on the plane tomorrow. Okay. Now, I also know that what is going on tomorrow, November 13th, UFO hearing. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions about that. And I fly, I fly business class, first class, and I've got all those frequent flyer perks like in-flight Wi-Fi and all of that. So barring anything crazy, I should be able to stream the hearing tomorrow. And I don't want to miss it. So, yeah. And looking at, it's Tim Gallaudet, man, right? Michael Schellenberger, right? You got the ex-administrator from NASA, John Gold, and DOD ex-employee Lou Elizondo. That's a pretty stellar panel there of testimony. So that's going on tomorrow. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, on the show tonight. All right. And that's it. Post your questions in all caps. Let me do a quick scroll through here and get some highlights going. and then I'll just scroll to the top. And yeah, man, a lot of questions already. Okay, I'm just clicking through, and I don't read the questions in advance. I just highlight them and go, and that's it. So it's an honest way of doing things. Let's see. Okay, all right. That should get us started. That's 20 or 30 questions right there. Okay, all right. Let's go. You guys ready? You guys excited? All right. So let's go here. That way I can read the questions, and you don't have to worry about my eye line on the camera. You like that? I do. All right, Renee's up first. She is always first. She's quick on the draw. Renee's been with me. I'm going to guess, Renee, you can post in the chat. It's 10 years? I think 10 years. And she is on her game. And so I don't even know. Let's see where we're at. Okay. Let's see where her head is at tonight. Jimmy, do you have any predictions or comments for us prior to tomorrow's House UAP hearing? That sounds like Renee. That sounds like Renee right there. Okay. Predictions. I thought about this today. All right. Here's a prediction. The House, the committee members will mention ETs or extraterrestrials. Okay. The 4 speaking, maybe Michael Schellenberger will go ET, but I don't expect Lou, Tim Gallaudet, certainly the NASA administrator, Gold. I don't know. I think they're going to stay in the UAP realm and national security interest. That's my take. I would love for this to go full ET and contact and disclosure and everything else. But whenever you get your hopes up for that, things get dashed. But my crystal ball is you've got probably, like I said, the House. There are, especially Mace, that are going to lean into the ET part of this. Is this off-planet contact? And but I don't expect that. So if it happens, wouldn't that be great? But that's my prediction. Let's see how accurate I am with that. Renee, that's a great opening question right there. Okay. All right. I didn't, you know what, Renee, I'm sorry about that. I didn't do this with Renee's question. I should have. Man, I feel bad now. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving. Jennifer. Jimmy, would you ever ride or even own a haunted Harley? Okay. Now, maybe. Okay, so what would be a haunted Harley? If somebody crashed on a Harley or died on a Harley, and then that Harley was repaired and then, put up for sale, that's bizarre. Would I do that? James Dean's Porsche, if it was put back together, and there's a whole long story with all of that too as well. So, now, or is it just haunted by a ghost and it's a Harley that's never been wrecked? Would I own that? Would I ride it? I would definitely ride it. I would. Would I own? What's the story behind it? I'm open to it. Yeah, owning and riding. But okay, so let me qualify that, and then we'll move on. No, you know what? I don't even like talking about that stuff. I don't want to jinx. Okay, so I'll just leave it right there. I'm open to it. It just depends on what the story is behind it. Great question, Jennifer. This is Join Aside. Is that John Aside's new name? Join Aside? AMA question, Jimmy, can you show us your new tattoos, but please don't moon us? Yeah, I got tattoos over the weekend, and I got two. I got one that says Fender. Can you see it? There you go. I got one that says Fender, and I have one that says Gibson. How do I show that to you? I don't know how to. Can you see that? How do I? There it is. There it is. So Gibson, Fender, Gibson, Fender. The Fender one is gold with some white highlights in it. It's really cool. It's 3D. It's really nice. So that's what I did. Fender and Gibson. There you go. All right. Yeah, my friend Howard Tiemann, I've known Howard since we were kids. I met him in the 80s, and he's just a talented artist. He's amazing. He's an artist, posters and stuff, but he's a tattoo artist. And this is my third tattoo. The other one, my Panama tattoo, I've had that since I was a kid. I don't even hardly remember getting it or what it felt like, but I didn't know. So I sit down with Howard, and he does. Which one did he do first? He did. I think he did he did the Gibson first. He did the Gibson first, and so and we're talking, we're doing this, doing that. And it was like 45 minutes, maybe an hour or something, and he wipes my arm, and we're just talking the whole time, and I glanced down and I said, "Are you done?" He goes, "Yeah." Oh, really? That was nothing. Okay. All right. So spun around and did the Fender. And I thought that I was going to feel it more than I did. I mean, I did, but it wasn't anything freak outish like. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It took 2 hours, an hour each. And there you go. Yeah, well, it wasn't a big deal. Okay. All right, let's see. UFO Gandalf, Dex. Here's a question I don't think I've ever asked before. When you're coming to Australia, I want to come to Australia so bad, man. I'm going to make that happen in 2025. Okay, I am going to go to Australia. If I don't get invited out there, I'll just go on my own. And just go out and hang out with you, Dex, and East Coast, West Coast, and maybe the middle. Let's do it all. But yeah, I'm going to go to Australia in 2025. I have to. New Zealand too, man. I would like to get to New Zealand, go see them hobbits. But yeah, it's weird how that part of the world. That little section of the world, that includes, going up to China, Japan, and down, and, all the way down to New Zealand, Australia in the middle. That whole, I haven't been anywhere there. No, it's weird. Been all over the world, been everywhere, but I haven't been there. So yeah, I'm gonna make that happen in 2025. Okay, Dex. All right, let's see here. What Harley do you, this is Two Wheel Freedom. Great name. Great name. What Harley do you ride, and what's your favorite route, road, and ride safe? Thank you for that. I have got what has turned into, a pretty unique thing, and everybody's got a unique Harley, right? That's part of the fun of owning a Harley. I have a Softail that I've always liked. Triumph, Bobbers, Nortons, BSA, British bikes. And I just like that kind of look and that cafe racer style, that bobber style. And so I decided I would get a Softail and turn it Softail standard and turn it into a bobber, not a cafe racer combo bob, British bike from the 60s. And I think I've pretty successful in doing that. Low bars. I got track bars on it, and I think I'm going to go drag bars or something else. But right now I've got low moto bars on it, and it's black and chrome, and it's got a 60s vibe, and it's fast. It's low. I've taken all of the weight off of the bike. It's the opposite of a big, highway touring bike with floorboards and a passenger seat and stereo speakers and bags and bagger and all. No, huge fairing. No, it's the opposite of that. There's no weight on the bike. It's very fast, and I've got racing tires on it and stuff. Anyway, so that's what I ride. My favorite routes are anywhere around my house. I can go because I don't live in the city. I live in the desert, and I've got mountains on one side of me, majestic, huge mountains with winding roads with no traffic on them. And then the opposite side of me is the desert, all the way to Las Vegas, man. It's just Mojave Desert, all the way to Death Valley and all the way north. So there's these wide open, straight roads that you can go on. When I go out, there's this one road. I mean, it's just one of many. They're all the same. It's Avenue D is what it's called. I can ride on Avenue D for 50 miles between stop signs. And wait a minute. No, that's my route back to the house. It's longer than that, but 50 miles straight, 80, 90 miles an hour in traffic. That's what everybody's doing. Straight, and just with the desert on both sides, man. It's like Judas Priest, desert plains, heading out onto the highway. Yeah, it's really cool. So I do everything. I like the straight roads. I like the desert roads. I like the mountain roads, and I like the twisties. So there you go. All right. Let's see. The MWL. Is there anything you want to do on this trip that you didn't get to do last time? Be safe. So I was talking to my agent, putting together a film on Peru right now. And so one of the things that I do want to do is a lot of B-roll and pickup shots that I didn't capture last time. There's that part. And I'm taking my microphones and stuff. So I want to do more interviews, not only with researchers and archaeologists and stuff that will be with us on the tour, and a couple of shamans. That's always fun. And Brian Forster, of course. But also members of the tour and get their insights. I just want to do all of that, but I want to get some other shots of Tiwanaku. I didn't shoot enough. I shot a ton of video. Pumapunku, I didn't shoot enough video there. I took more pictures. So there's that. Same thing with Ollantay Tambo. Same thing with Sacsayhuaman. And it's just so many. I can go on and on and on. And Lake Titicaca too as well. I didn't shoot enough of that. So and everything else. So that's it. I also want to be able to have some more moments by myself. Yeah. It's such a spiritual place. I mean, you're around people and I get that, and I love that. And people want to ask questions and get my opinions and that, and I enjoy that. I live for that. But sometimes I just like to wander off by myself and put my hands on these sites and pick up the vibrations. So, yeah. And that includes every single site that you visit in Peru. Everything is just so majestic. I was watching the Graham Hancock new series, and he's got a couple of episodes there on Peru. Brian Forster wasn't in it. I thought that was kind of strange. But anyway, and seeing that and knowing that I'm about to be there tomorrow, just reminded me of so many different things that went through my head when I was there. And there's so many amazing places. So yeah, all right. That's it. That's my plan. That's my plan. Let's see who is next. Outcast Jeff. Jimmy, do you ever have bodyguards when you travel? Sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. You have to. You have to. Yeah. Not in Peru though. Don't you should maybe Bolivia, maybe. You never know what's going on down there. Anyway, yeah. Travel with security sometimes, and just depends on the location. But yeah, you kind of have to. And I should do it. I should have bodyguards at conferences. Yeah, that's what I should start doing that. Thought about it. All right. That's a great question, Jeff. Well done. Well done. I was just thinking, okay, Kay says, who is your favorite guest to have only appeared once on the show? Oh, man. Wow. Well, after this many shows, one guest, that's a tough. Oof. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Man, I wish I would have had that in advance. Only had on the show once, but my favorite guest that's only been on the show once. Huh. I'm going to come back to that, Kay. I need to think about that because, 2,000 shows and all the coast, it was 3,000 shows that we're talking about here. Yeah, a lot of repeat guests, but the majority of those 2,000 or 3,000 shows are all one appearance. Wow. Over the last couple of years, maybe 3 years, I have been focusing on, I've told my team this, that I want as many first-time guests as possible. And you guys know, you're here with me every night, and you know how many times I give out the first-time guest disclaimer. Sometimes I do it 4 nights a week. Sometimes, certainly 3. And I enjoy that. So there's been so many great shows over the last 2 or 3 years because of that directive that I laid out on everybody. I just want as many of that as possible. And there's a reason for it. All right. When back in the day, let's go back 15, 20 years ago, when I would listen to Coast on the radio. And if the guest was somebody that's been on the show a bunch of times, I kind of lost interest. And without naming names here, what I'm suggesting is I got excited when Art or George or whoever would bring on a guest that I had never heard of. Wow, okay. And I would always listen to those shows. And that's what I want to share with everybody. Are they the highest rated shows because it's nobody that's anybody has ever heard of before? I don't know, but I do want to make a difference for those also that don't necessarily get on the air or don't have an opportunity because they haven't written 20 books and they haven't, been on a bunch of TV shows and movies and do all the stuff that and they get booked all the time anyway. It's everybody else, and I want to help people and let their voice be heard. I got excited about that, and that's what I try to do now. I really, and I'm telling you, it's much harder to book first-time guests all the time. It's hard. It's hard. Look at all of the shows that are out there. Same guest, show to show to show to show to show. And who's out there taking chances? Who's out there trying to learn something new? Who's trying to, and that's what got me excited when I would listen to Coast. So yeah, okay, that's a long answer for a very simple question, and I still never really answered it. I mean, I would have to go through, you know what, I'm going to say all of them. I've had very few stinkers. Yeah, very few. And I can pull in stuff that I want to know and interesting stuff out of any guest. And so I would say that anybody that's been on the show once, they were chosen for a reason, and I'm sure it was a great show. So there you go. And that's not a PC answer. That's a real answer. All right. Dickie Berg. Jimmy, are there places in Peru you didn't get to last time that you want to see this time? Peru, it's a great question. Peru is full of sites in every direction. And so when you do a tour like this, you could almost just stay in Cusco. You could almost just stay in Paracas. You could almost stay in Nasca. You could almost, right? And because the sites are everywhere. You just when you're on the bus or in a cab or whatever you're doing, and you're looking out the window, you're driving past stuff. You're like, man, what was that? You know, I'll ask Brian, what was that? Oh, it was a pyramid. There's a bunch of pyramids around here. Well, stop this bus. What are you doing? No, we gotta get to, oh man. And yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Peru is like that. It's just full. So there's plenty I haven't seen. I haven't even looked at the itinerary. I know that I'm going back to Nasca first. We're going to go back to Nasca. Very excited about that. I shot all the video that you can imagine when I flew over Nasca. This time, I'm taking pictures over Nasca. I've got all the video I need. I shot everything. I never stopped shooting video from the plane. So there you go. Okay. Let's see who is up next. Android Paranormal, have you switched to optimism on disclosure from government after the appointments? Rubio, Secretary of State, and Ratcliffe, CIA Director, Mike Waltz, top national security advisor. I've always been. What do you mean? I've always been optimistic. I know it's here. Yeah. No, I'm cool. I did see the mention about Rubio. I like that. He's the UFO guy, Secretary of State. Will that make a difference? I don't know. You know, will he get questions about UFOs in the future like he did before? I don't know. You know, TMZ drilled him in the airport once, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So, and then what was the other one? Oh, yeah, Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe has said some pretty extraordinary things in the past. So we'll see. But I know that it's just around the corner. I feel something's about to bust. All right. DJ Jimmy, who has been your favorite guest on the show so far? Same thing. All of them. There are guests that I have on the show that I really, really enjoy because we have a relationship and stuff. And that's Linda Moulton Howe's always great. Richard Dolan, always great. And so are they my favorites? Well, and I can go beyond that. I mean, the list is really, 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 really long. And so when I bring on somebody that I know really well, that I hang out with, and and I'm able to just have an open conversation because of trust. It makes those shows really, really special. Most, if you go back, remember, I've been doing this show for forever. And in the beginning, there was my first Richard Dolan interview, which I don't remember. My first, oh, no, I do remember, actually. That was live on TV. But Dolan, or my first Linda Moulton Howe, or my first Stanton Friedman, or, you know, and so when you go back and you think about all of those shows had the same questions that all of those personalities have answered 1,000 times, and they're on autopilot. Okay, now you got to get to the second show, the third show, the fourth show, where all of those questions aren't asked. Right. And now we get to the meat of the matter. And that happens with trust over time. And that's what makes all of those shows special. I go back and I think about Jim Mars, right? John Anthony West, Stanton Friedman, those shows with them, because I'd done so many. Jim Mars, I would talk to Jim Mars during the week, just having a phone call with him, or John Anthony West. And so what's going on? Nothing, have a, man, let's do a show about this, because we talked a couple of times, and Jim, or another example. So we would do that, or I would hang up the phone, and then Jim would call me back like the next day. Let's do a show on that. I was thinking about what we were talking about yesterday all night. And that's what makes those shows great. There was a reason, there was this determination to get this information out there. So much fun. So there you go. All right. And I don't want these answers to be a dance, because I like every night on the show, the guests that we have on, it's a tough thing to do and select, but we try to make every show special, every show an event. So there you go. All right. I need a speaker spot at CLE. They say it's full. What can you do? You know how many emails I've gotten on that in the last month and a half? A lot. I'll see what I can do. It's tough. There's everything is full. Jimmy, what are you most excited to see or do in Peru? Okay, aside from Sacsayhuaman or Ollantay Tambo or Tiwanaku and Pumapunku and all of that stuff, right? Okay, it's all amazing. But there is something that overwhelms you when you see those elongated skulls and you see those in person. That's a mind-blowing thing. And now, I know you've all seen pictures and stuff, but when you see a human skull, it's this big, right? And next to it, you see an elongated skull, and it's that big. It's nuts. It's crazy. And the mummies too, as well. And at the different museums down there, they have different states of mummies all around it, and that's really cool. There's a lot of tomb robbery and gravesite robbery, and I get it. If you're somebody that's a local that's making $1 a day, and you can go and go and plunder one of these grave sites at night and turn around and sell that stuff so you can feed your kids. I understand it. I don't condone it, but I understand it. And so because of that, there's a lot of stuff down there that you can see. And it's it's one thing to see giant rocks that when you go to Sacsayhuaman and you see 100-ton carved rock, 100-ton. And I don't care what the archaeologists want to say or what the historians want to say and how they move them. We know the location of the quarry where those stones came from. And 100 tons without, and it's 100 tons, and there's 1,000 of them. It's crazy. It's crazy. So that's something else that, and you see how the corners and the joints. I've taken probably 1,000 pictures of that. You can't ever get tired of that. But the Paracas skulls, Inca, the Inca Museum, yeah, pretty amazing. Nasca lines too. It's all great. Everything is great in Peru. It is. Let's see. Jimmy, what happened last night when your show froze on YouTube about the last 15 minutes? I don't know. That was YouTube. It was live everywhere else. There was no issues. I reposted it on YouTube. YouTube didn't do a takedown, which normally when the video stops, I'll get a notice and it'll say, you said something you shouldn't have, community standards. And that didn't happen last night. The show was live all night, still up. So I just pulled it down from another site and had the team post it up today. So it's up on YouTube. I don't know. It was live everywhere. No hangups here. There was no issues. It was a YouTube thing. And like I said, normally because of their, like we're live right now, right on YouTube. And if you say certain words, which obviously I'm not going to say right now, immediately they flag, they take it down, they'll stop the video. And I have done over the years certain interviews where a guest will go into an area of conversation and then blah 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 and launch off into this stuff, and I'll be watching and take down. Right? It's like that algorithm, the machine learning, it's listening for certain words and that's it. But that didn't happen last night. There was no issues with it anywhere. So there you go. Okay. Are you going to do ayahuasca in Peru this time? No, I am not. You know what? I probably will never do ayahuasca. DMT I have no issues with. But ayahuasca, the reason why it's a 1 to 2 day, 3 day commitment, and there's the other things with it, the nausea and the lower intestinal tract, the small intestine. There's issues with that I personally don't want to deal with, and so when DMT is different because it's in and out, done, and no side effects. So there you go. So I'll probably never do ayahuasca. Maybe I'll attend a ceremony and watch it, but going through it, no. Let's see. Olivia. Hey, Olivia, how you doing? There is a Cracker Barrel in Rialto. Have never gone. What? There is in Rialto, really? Well, that's about this. I don't know what's closer to me, Rialto or Victorville. We need a Cracker Barrel here in Palmdale. Palmdale is rednecky. That's why I live here. It's my people. Yeah, we need what they're which I was surprised to see. Here in Palmdale, we've got a Sonic drive-in. Yeah. And what I think there's one in Glendale, but I never went there. Drove past it all the time. But that kind of stuff doesn't exist in LA. It's really weird. But there's a Cracker Barrel in Rialto. Yeah, okay. Noted. And we need Waffle House. We don't have that stuff out here. People now, I know I live here in California and everything, but and I enjoy it out here, especially Palmdale. It's just like a different slice of life. It's the opposite of Hollywood. But you can't go into a restaurant in Los Angeles County. Maybe there's an exception. Okay, there's Cracker Barrel and Rialto is certainly Cracker Barrel and Rialto. You cannot go into a restaurant and order biscuits and gravy, chicken fried steak, meatloaf. You can't. It doesn't exist. And if it does, it's rare. It's really, really rare. It just doesn't exist. That slide when. Every time I go back to the Midwest, I go to Cracker Barrel, I go to Waffle House. I love Waffle House. And everything on the menu, very few exceptions, is something I want to order. And that is your Fader fact. All right. Thank you for that, Olivia. I wonder what's closer. Yeah, Rialto or Victorville. Okay, let's see. What is this? Did you read the witness statements? If so, what do you think of Gold's statement? It made me think he might be delivering the establishment narrative tomorrow. Yes, I know. Hope I'm wrong. I know. So, no, I didn't read the witness stuff. I know that John Greenwald posted it. I just didn't want. I don't want it to pollute my pre-show thing. It's like a spoiler alert. So no, I didn't. Okay, I didn't do it with anything, and this is No Style Dutch. I like that name. That's cool. That's exactly why, right? What if Gold goes off script? You produce these statements so the committee can see them in advance, and they're there. Greenwald, John Greenwald, the Black Vault, got a hold of them, and that's great, right? But is it so they can sneak in the door, right, and then go off the rails, right? So you do that, and then you go off script. It'd be cool if they did. So I'm just saying it's just a way to look at all of this. So there you go. All right, let's see. Where are we here? Jimmy, the Nasca line creatures are said to be alien. What are your thoughts? Well, okay, so I'm flying over the Nasca lines. I'm in a plane. Two pilots in front of me, and they're both talking and telling us what we're looking at. And so what they would do is fly over everything twice so everybody can take pictures from both sides of the plane. So they fly, they'll tip the wing, and they go around and they say, look at the tip of the wing, and then they turn around and they fly back this way, like that. Okay, all right. So the pilot says, okay, everybody look out the left window. He's a young dude. He was pretty funny. Look out the left window and look at the alien astronaut waving back at you. His words. And you look out the window, and on the side of this hill is this alien astronaut. We've all seen the pictures of it, right? And he's waving. Now, what goes through your mind when you see something like that? Why is that there? Why is that there like that? And why is the pilot calling it an alien astronaut? Right? Because, well, first off, that's what it is. You just look at it. But why would somebody that long ago do that with this being on the side of the hill? And doesn't look human. It's got short legs, long arms, round head. It's bizarre. And then the other part of Nasca is, and I've tried to explain this to everybody. I don't think it soaks in. It didn't with me. I was still shocked with all of the research that I've done on Nasca. The size of Nasca is beyond anything your brain can handle. I've done all the research. I've done all the things. Eric Von Daniken. I've read the books. It's in the interviews. So I'm supposed to be the guy that's prepared. You get to Nasca and you see what it is. It is just wide open, flat desert as far as the eye can see. It's arid. It's alien look. It's just crazy. Anyway, so when you take off in the plane and you're looking around and you see these lines. Now, yeah, the pictographs and the glyphs are there. I'm talking about these lines, big, huge, wide, straight as an arrow, go over the horizon. And you're looking at that, and they're going in every direction. It's just like, who did that and why? You can't wrap your head around it. It's ginormous. And what is the purpose of it? Nobody knows. Lots of speculation. I get all of that. The questions are there. But that is something that I don't think I'll ever get tired of visiting. It's that crazy. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Okay, let's see who's up next. Okay. Hey, Jim, just wondering where I could visit places of high strangeness on a modest budget. And you're in Kentucky. Man, well, you've got the Snake Mound in Ohio. That's right next to you. The Serpent Mound. Yeah, you can do that. That's right there. That's right there. That's right next to you. You can do that right now. But visit area. If you come out to California, just go to Joshua Tree. You come out to California, go to Shasta. But Joshua Tree in California, Sedona. Sedona's a little expensive, but you can do it on a budget if you plan it out right. But these are great places to visit. Then you have Chaco Canyon in New Mexico. Very inexpensive. Road trip. Go and do that. Roswell. You can go and do Roswell. It's just a fun place to and very inexpensive. Laughlin, Nevada, the Grapevine Petroglyphs, an amazing site. Yeah, so there you go. There's a list, and you can go and do all of that. Why don't you pick a new what? Why don't you pick a new story? My attachment entity case instead. Okay, so what is this? Melody Brookman. Why don't you pick a new story? My attachment entity case instead of redundancy haunted house. I have no idea what that's all about, but shoot me an email. Redundancy? Redundancy? There ain't no redundancy around here. Yeah, okay. So check this out. Legos. All right. This is for you. What was your name? Melody Brookman. Okay, here's your non-redundancy. Legos. All right. So I'm building I've got a lot of them little Lego cars. I just like them, Ferraris and stuff like that. And I'm building this Pagani. And this is a couple of weeks ago. And I just got email from Lego about this today, right before the show. So I'm building, and I get to the, I got the, and I get to the spot, and I've got pile, bag number 1, bag number 2, bag number 3, 3 piles of parts and things. And I need 2 of these angled, what called a 3/4 flat block. And I've only got 1 gray. I need the opposite. All right. There, I have this one. I need this one to go on the top so I can. And I don't have that many parts left. And I'm looking, I'm like, what? So I go into the box is empty. I look at all the plastic bags, that I've already emptied, and they're all empty. I put those back in the box and I search the thing and it's not there. So I leave the parts out and I go and I get the manual in the back or all the parts where you can order. So I go to the Lego website and I order 2. I had 1, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't order the wrong one. So I ordered 2, 1 of each. And Lego took care of it. And they said, we've got your order. We'll let you know when it ships. And that was it. So I left everything out on my coffee table for a few days. I didn't want to put everything away and hoping that Lego would ship this. They didn't ship it until today, by the way. So it was 2 weeks later. Anyway, so after about a week and I didn't hear back from Lego, I went, and I had looked and I was I'm under the couch, flashlight on the floor, looking everywhere. Maybe I dropped it. Maybe it fell off the table. Never found it. And so I decided to put all the Legos away. And so I pick up the box that I had already looked in like 10 times and looked, I'm not exaggerating, and the plastic bags and everything else. And so I opened up the box to put all the parts. I was just going to sweep them off the table and put them in the box and wait for this thing to come. Anyway, I opened up the box. The top bag staring at me is the part. And I went, what? And I take the bag out. There it is. It's right there. It's in the bag. And I had looked at parts bag number 2 that this part was in 10 times, 20 times. All the bags, there's like 6, were in the box, were all empty. I had looked at them one at a time. I had looked in the box. I looked in there. I looked at the table. And I opened it, and there it was. And this was a week and a half ago. And I thought to myself, this is just another day here at the house. It's just another day. What am I going to do? And so I tell you what I did do is I sat down and I finished building the car, which took me like every bit of 5 or 10 minutes because I was already done and there wasn't that many parts that were left. And I finished it and thought to myself, how many times did you look in that bag? How many times did you look in that box? How many times did you search for this part before I ordered it? Before I went through the trouble of going to the Lego website and punching in part numbers and all of my shipping information to get that stuff sent to me. Right? That was last resort, but I hadn't found it. And there it was in the box. That's haunted stuff. And will you ever get a fade to black tattoo? No, I will not. All right, let's see. Let's look at the clock before we take a break. Jimmy, are you familiar with the Stargate being placed next to the Indiana State Capitol building here in Indiana? What are you talking about? This isn't true. Is this true? Okay, hold on a minute. Let me move this over here. Okay. How did he Stargate being placed next to the Indiana State Capitol building? Oh. Yes. I have seen this. Now, is it? Yeah. Yeah, this is crazy. When you said being, I was picturing an alien, not Stargate like Stargate. Yeah, I've seen this. This was sent to me. I want to see this in person. And yeah, this is pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. If everybody doesn't know what we are talking about here, let me see if I can pull this up. Oh, I can't. Yeah, I can do it. I can do it. No, I can't. Oh, great. Let's see if I can grab this one. Is this one going to work? Yes, this one will work. I'll just call this Stargate. Cool. All right. Okay. All right. Boom. Done. Yeah. When this was sent to me, and I literally went, what are they saying in this email? And then I saw it. So here it is. Let me pull this up for everybody. It's crazy. I'm gonna officially say this is one of those things where you go, is it real? Is this really a thing? So here it is here. Give me a second. All right. There it is. That's pretty nuts, isn't it? And it just needs some hieroglyphics, right? Needs some Roland Emmerich, Kurt Russell hieroglyphics, James Spader. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Thank you for that, Steve. And there it is, man. Yeah, right. And you see something like that, and when somebody tells you, did you see the Stargate at the Indiana State Capitol building? And you go, what? You don't think that. You don't. That's not what goes through your mind. That is a Stargate, man. There's no question about it. And they can say whatever they want. It's this, it's that. But that's a Stargate for sure. Now, how do you activate it and how do you step through it? I think that's the bigger question here. Have you added that custom faded black logo to the bike yet? Okay, so this is what and that's from Bill. Thank you, Bill. Okay, so this is how this is going to work. On my tank, underneath the Harley logo, I'm going to have fade to black in chrome metal relief, and that's going to be added to the tank. I haven't done it yet. I have thought about it. I don't know if I'm going to do it in like a Harley script, some kind of streamliner script, or if I'm going to do the fade to black logo. That I don't know. But I've thought about this, and yeah, it's definitely going to be added to the bike. And in December, when I get back, I actually have the month of December off, everybody besides fade to black, but I don't have anything going on as far as taping or conferences or stuff. I just and I do that on purpose so I can just get to I'm the favorite that's been on once. Yes. Oh man. What is your favorite pastry? All right, I got to get to a break. What is your favorite pastry? Favorite pastry? Does that include donuts? You know what my favorite pastry? Well, a good French real croissant is amazing. Favorite pastry, Napoleon's pretty good. But if I back off of that and I just go straight Midwest, I gotta say, it's just a straight glazed yeast donut is amazing, but chocolate covered custard filled is pretty amazing. I like jelly filled, strawberry, raspberry. It's got to be strawberry or raspberry. I don't like anything else as far as berries go. But yeah, I like donuts, man. I like donuts. Cinnamon sugar twist. Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, let's take a break. This is Fade to Black. This is our once a month AMA tonight, everybody, and stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get your alerts and access to over 2,000 videos. Click that subscribe button right now. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and get the Fade to Black official podcast. 2,000 episodes, all of them commercial free for just $2 a month. Watch Into the Vortex on Gaia TV. It's Fade to Black for the screen. Simple to do. Go to Gaia.com, search Jimmy Church, or click on the link below. Follow Fade to Black on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Get all of the show updates every single day. It's now called X, but who cares? How you doing? Jimmy Church here. Special announcement. Get your Fade to Black T-shirts. That's right. Help support the show. Help support everything that we do over here. We've got 2 T-shirts. We've got 2 ways to get them. Get your Fade to Black T-shirt today. Go Backley Tappy. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and become a Fadernaut. Get a membership. That's right. Everything is commercial free. You have access to downloads, and you get to call yourself a Fadernaut. River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. All right, tonight is our once a month AMA AJA, Ask Jimmy Anything. And tomorrow I head to Peru and Bolivia with Brian Forrester. I just got an email from Brian, and hello, Brian. And excited to see you, man. And so I thought, let's do the AMA now instead of waiting. And I just wanted to hang out with everybody and relax a little bit, because I'm packed up and ready to go right after the show tonight. Going to hit my pillow and wake up and jump on a plane. All right. So that's what's going on around here. I will be live streaming as much as I can from Peru. I want to get everybody a little bit bored with it. Not another live stream, not another megalithic site, not another one, Jimmy. That's what I'm going to do. All right. So it's going to be fun. I'm taking a bunch of gear with me down there to do all of this stuff with. All right. So that kicks off in the morning, but tonight it's our AMA. So let's get back to the questions. All right. The guest recently, Susan Slaughter, was awesome. Has she been on before? She's been on the show many times. Susan and I, over the years, and we talked about this on the show for sure. We've done a lot of events together and investigations. So She's amazing, and she's an example of somebody that I know really, really well, and I've got a tremendous amount of respect for, and that makes for a great conversation. And so I'm glad that you enjoyed the show. Susan is just absolutely amazing, and she was in Florida for a while. She's got another place out here, and she's back in Southern California. So yeah, I'm gonna have her over at the house, and maybe we'll do a live fade to black and do some live streaming together. But I kind of want her. I've had a few mediums and a few psychics walk through the house and give me their opinion. So about what's going on around here. Yeah, I don't know when you see an abandoned house, and you see these images all the time on the internet, and you can go and search for them, spooky abandoned houses, and you can go look, and a lot of them are old, and they, Victorian, and yeah, okay, all right, that looks haunted. Okay, all right. You wouldn't think that my house would have the activity that it does, but look at the movie Poltergeist. That's an example. That's a new house that's built, and it was a strange, very successful film because people live in new houses. And is it possible that a new house could have something like that going on? Well, my house does. That Lego story that I just gave you, that's just, and it's weird what my reaction was like. I was so surprised to see that in the box, because I drop parts all the time. I drop stuff off of my coffee table all the time. We all do that. Rolls under the couch. It's over here. It manages to bounce behind the leg of the coffee table, and you don't see it. And then you got to get that. And it could be anything. It could be the remote control. It could be, something. And it doesn't have to be a part or a piece of something. Man, I dropped a USB-C adapter, Lightning C adapter. I think it's about this big. Dropped it on the floor. And this isn't a ghost thing or a paranormal thing. I looked for that thing forever. And down, flashlight, hands and knees, underneath, everything around, moving stuff, and couldn't find it. And later on that night, I just looked, and here's the leg of my coffee table. It dropped behind. It's this wide, the leg of it was, that thing bounced and then took a left turn and was sitting right there. And, and so it happens. But that Lego was looked for about a week. And then to just have it sitting on top right there, visible. Yeah. Wow. All right. So there you go. Okay. So that was Susan Slaughter. Yeah, I need to have her come over. Jimmy, have you heard of Clint Ober? I think he would be a great guest to have. Very informative, and I think the Fadernauts would like him. Okay, so let's see who Clint Ober is. Name sounds Clint. What is it? Clint. How did you spell Ober? Okay. Clint Ober, Earthing Products. Oh, no, I know Clint. Hold on, let me look at these images. Yeah, I know Clint. Yeah, Earthing. Yeah. I've met Clint. I've had Olivia on the show, who works with Clint. But yeah, Clint's a good dude. I got his product. I got his stuff, man. Yeah, Clint is great. I know I knew that name. You go into my bed. I say this all the time. I have his mattress pad, earthing pad, king size, right? We've got the pillowcases and some other stuff, and then the stick-on stuff. So all of that plugs into the wall, and it comes around and then plugs into the mattress and plugs into the thing. I've got all these and you walk into if you don't know what you're looking at, and you look at the bed and you see all of these cables coming out from underneath the comforter, right, and down onto the floor. It's like and they're all the plug-in thing for the, and it's bizarre, but yeah, it's right there. It's right there. I've actually had people request, "Hey, can I see the cable? Can I see your grounding setup in your room?" Yeah, come on, let's go. I'll show you. Let's see, which way does this go? Does this go this way? It goes this way. Okay. All right. Yeah, Clint Ober's cool. He's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. Very smart. Very smart. Are you familiar with Devin Townsend? Yes, Devin's cool. And I think hold on. Man, I normally don't do this often. So what I like about Devin, and I wanted to get this right, is his guitar. I think it's just amazing. That is just a gorgeous guitar. And so he's got a few of them, but they're all, different colors, different paint schemes. But he that guitar, and it's got this LED triangle on it. I love that idea. I love that idea a lot. So he's just, that's a 335, and he's got EMGs in that one there. The guitar that I'm talking about, let me back up. Let me see if I can do this really fast so everybody can understand what I am talking about. Let me pull this up. Yeah, this one's good. Let's see if I can please work. This works. Okay, cool. Done. This is Devin Townsend. And he's a guitarist for strapping young lad. So let me pull this over here. Oh, wrong one. Great guitar player. I'm back. Sorry about that. I clicked on the wrong thing. So no, I did vanish just for a second. Okay, so I'm back. Everybody just relax. This is Devin Townsend. This is what happens when you do stuff live and you're not prepared. You got to do it like this. Okay. All right. Boom. This is Devin Townsend, and this is the guitar that I'm talking about. That guitar is cool. Just, man, look at that. That's cool. I just dig it. Good guitar player. I could probably reach out to him and make things happen. Okay. All right. Where am I at? Back to questions. That was Devin Townsend. Okay. I got to go backwards now. Jimmy loves my Gibson S1. Everybody loves S1s. Okay, so now I'm going backwards. I should have been. Jimmy, what's your most rock and roll story? Man, I've got. See, the thing is, when you live, hanging out, getting the tats done with Howard Teeman, and we're sitting there just talking about the stuff that we did together in the '80s, and the crowd that we ran around with. It was just one thing after another. Do you remember that time? You remember that time? You remember that time? And it was all like that every single night. There was this apartment building on Wilcox. It was called Wilcox and Hollywood Boulevard, called the Studio Club, and ginormous building, huge. It's like 5 floors, and every apartment was occupied by a band or a rock and roll situation. Everything. It was a pretty cool building, actually. But what went on in that building 7 nights a week, documentaries could be made about this, because out of the 300-400 apartments in that building, any night of the week, 7 nights a week, there was probably 20 or 30 parties going on in 20 or 30 apartments that went in all night and then spilled over to the pool area the next day. And that pool, so I mean, I can't tell you how many nights I up all night, out at the pool, haven't slept, and sitting in one of those lounge chairs all day long with just people. Every band that you can think of was there. Any band from the '80s that you could, anybody that you can, any name. That's what was going on, and that's about as rock and roll as it gets. It was just, and we were talking about the Studio Club, and yeah. There was another place. It was, you can look this up too. It was called the Hollywood and Western Building, and that was on Hollywood and Western on the corner, Western Avenue. And it was 3 or 4 floors of rehearsal studios. And yeah, some name bands were in there. But what went on inside of that building 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? I got to tell you, man, some people should still be in jail. I'm just saying. And it was rock and roll, man. And I had a shopping cart. I had a 4-track recorder, Tascam, and mics and mic stands and effects. And I would push that, and I would go, and these bands would have me record them. And it's a shopping cart, man. I'd pull out of my studio. I was on the 2nd floor originally, on 4th floor later, and put all of my gear in there and go to the band studio. And they paid me whatever, $200 to record them for, like 3 songs on a 4-track. And that, back then in the '80s, that was all the money. Sometimes I would do it twice a day, and sometimes I would do it every day of the week. And that's rock and roll. People still, dude, I remember you, man, with that shopping cart. Yeah, man. So rock and roll. So rock and roll. Okay. All right. So rock and roll. All right. I'm going backwards now. I've got to get caught up to where we left. Because I came and left, all the questions that were there are gone. Oh, great. Great. Okay. All right. Do you have any emerald guitars? No, I don't. I mean, right now I haven't gotten a new guitar in a while. I mean, my newest is this, which everybody has seen. Pull this up here. This is a Jimmy Page Dragon Telecaster. And look at the pick guard. It looks like it's lumpy, but it's not. It's flat. It's flat. It's perfectly flat, but it's that. Look at that. It's really cool. So this is the Jimmy Page Dragon Telecaster that I got from Fender, and it's really tasty and it's really nice. So that's like my newest guitar, but I've been going through other stuff that takes up my time, like cameras, lighting rig, teleprompter. So I did all of that just recently. I got another sub mixer, another Mackie sub mixer for my subwoofers in here. My other mixer was getting wonky. It was picking up Wi-Fi signals. Listening to my stupid subwoofer, and I would have to move the mixer. It's a long story. I don't Wi-Fi in here. I Wi-Fi for upstairs, but the Wi-Fi router, the base unit's here. There's another Wi-Fi router upstairs, but anyway, and so the mixer, I would have to put it like on a little box and raise it up like 2 inches, and it would get out of the Wi-Fi signal. I was done with it. I was done with it. And so I've recently installed the Mackie little sub mixer here. It's perfectly quiet and everything's fine. But it's stuff like that I have to do all the time. Everything is always in flux here. There's stuff like, okay, so imagine this for a second. All right. I want everybody to think about this. Right now, this camera over here is not turned on. I could turn it on. I could turn it on right now. Okay, so I have a bunch of cameras in here. I've got this one, right? I've got this one. I've got this one. And now, how do you focus the camera? I want you to think about that. How do you focus the camera? If I'm sitting here, how do I reach over there and focus the camera and then look at myself? The camera that's behind everything, this one here, this one's sitting further back, and it's how do I focus that? How do I do anything with that and look at myself? You can't. If you go back there, you're now looking at that. You can't see it, right? And same thing with this camera that's up here that I'm pointing at. How do you focus that? Now, that's a problem. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. How do you get that done? Well, you have to turn around and get something like this. So this is a monitor. Professional monitor, battery pack, everything you can see. And Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all that if you need it, but also HDMI in, and then you come off of my switcher that's down here and you plug into this, and then you hit the camera, and then you can see yourself, and now you can go and focus, right? But it's things like this that you don't think about, that, you know, and so, and I could have this wired in right here, and I can look down here and I can have the submix. I can see what's on the other cameras before I switch to them. But it's little things like this. It's on a stand. It's very good. It's things like this that you don't, and this pulls me away from guitars, because I'm always having to do stuff like that in the studio. There's always, and I don't think about guitars. It's crazy. Jimmy, have you read Shirley MacLaine's book about Out on a Limb? I have that book. Yeah, I have that book. That's actually a very great question. That is from Jan Pat. It's a great book. That's a great book. And she let it all hang out, for sure. All right, let's see. Man, questions are coming in. Okay, I'm going backwards, everybody, newest first, and that's not normally how I do it. When you had Elizabeth April on the other night, she said she was abducted. Did you ever ask her what happened, what they look like? Somehow I missed it. Okay, well, Elizabeth has been on the show before, and we went through her entire abduction experience. So if you go and look at the previous couple of episodes with Elizabeth, we go through that. And that's kind of like what I was saying earlier. What is really great about having people on the show more than once is you get the base questions out of the way, and then you can move on to other stuff. Her experience and what she went through, she was very young, and her family was there. It's a very long, detailed story. And so to go and repeat all of that again for the episode, I don't get to new stuff. So go and listen, check out Elizabeth April's last couple shows last summer. She's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. Okay. Jessica Rodriguez. How you doing, Jessica? Everything good? Everything good? Do you think the government will ever tell us the truth about consciousness, or let us into the Vatican archives where all that knowledge is? I know, right? There is, okay. You've seen the movie Warehouse 13, or you've seen the TV series Warehouse 13, or the end of Steven Spielberg's. So that idea, that concept, right? The Lost Ark, and it's on a forklift, and they put it up on the shelf. So the Vatican archives, and I'm not off here, I think I'm on target. Nobody has any idea what's down there. It's gone on now for 1,500 years of collecting stuff, and collecting stuff from previously to before the Vatican was even around. Filling up, and before computers, stuff just being put on shelves, and then in a box, and everything, and then there are probably log books with and it's entered, and then pages full. That stuff, nobody has any clue about what's down there. Now, let's suppose Jessica's so smart. Listen, Jessica, you get a hall pass. You get invited to the Vatican, and they say to you, go and look at and do whatever you want. The archives are yours. You walk through those gates and you go into the vault and you look at miles of tunnels and rows of stuff, and there is no way. It would take you the rest of your life to get 10 feet in both directions every day of the rest of your life. You have what's on the back half of the room. Where do you even start? The Vatican doesn't know what's down there. They know some of the stuff, of course. They got some of the think about that. There's stuff in the Vatican archives, in those secret vaults, that have been forgotten. So that's what is it that they could tell us? There's some top shelf secret stuff. Sure. Are aliens real? Was Jesus an alien? Was Jesus even real? Let's get to all of that. Yeah, okay, so we have that. Moses. What's up with Moses? So there's that, but there's everything else. I am nearly positive that a flood, hundreds of researchers, hundreds of forensic, right, specialists going in there and documenting and cataloging everything in the Vatican. It would take hundreds of years. And you can tell anybody anything that you can find, you can disclose it. Okay. All right. You have to go and find it. It would take forever. Now, consciousness, that's the other thing. Consciousness is a big deal. And so when you think about a breakthrough, and not from the Dalai Lama, not from somebody from Tibet, not some Buddhist monk. No, none of that. A scientific confirmation about consciousness. It would be such a revolution and would throw such a panic through everybody. But the thing is, what would it lead to? What's behind that? And could the world handle it? I want to know. I do. But can everybody else handle it? I mean, that's a really big thing. It's a really big deal. I don't know. Could Neil deGrasse Tyson handle it? I don't know. Could Michael Shermer handle it? I don't know. Sean Carroll, Brian Greene can handle it. Michio Kaku could handle it. But Sean Carroll would lose his mind. He would lose his mind. I was listening to him talk the other day, and he was saying, well, I'm a theoretical physicist, philosophy major or whatever, doctorate in philosophy. And philosophy, dude, stop. And he's trying to come across like he's got an acceptance of all ideas and all theories. No. Sean Carroll is not allowed to say philosophy and physics in the same thing. It's crazy. Consciousness and that disclosure to somebody like him, he would lose his mind. AMA question from email. This is from Justin. Do you think Jesus or anyone in that time era had a UFO sighting encounter? I do. I think it was much more frequent back then. Yeah. ET knows we have radar. We've got satellites. We've got the James Webb Space Telescope. We're about to launch Roman. We have, the test system and Hubble, and we have all kinds of deep space sensor data that can be applied. So sneaking in to Earth's atmosphere is difficult. But back then, right? Before electricity, before 1900, before 1800, before Tesla, right? Before Marconi, before all of that, you could just fly and enter. Nobody knew you were coming. Nobody knew what they were looking at, and it just happened. So ET had free run. And there's another way to look at it. All right. That's a great question, Justin. There's another way to look at it. So you're a village, 500 people, right? You're by the sea. And if walking in one direction for a day, let's go back 3,000-4,000 years, 5,000 years, 5,000 years. And if you walk for a day, how far do you walk? 20 miles, right? So you've got to take water, you got to take food with you, you've got to take your blankets, you got to do all of this, because are you going to stay the night and then come back the next day? Or are you going to walk somewhere and then turn around and come back in the same day? It's a lot of effort for not going very far. So how many other little towns or villages or other people or different types of that do you bump into, right? Are you surprised? No. You're seeing somebody that's dressing differently, different paint on their face, different weapons for hunting, different things, whatever. And everything was new, everything was fresh. You walk in that direction, you see something else. Walk for 2 days, and then go over a hill and encounter something new, and some boat arrives on the sea, and then you bump into ET, right? That's just another day. I don't think anybody was surprised. I don't think ET was either. And I don't, because everything was new animals, new things, new food, new trees, new grass, new thing. Now, everything was just exploring and everything was new. Now we know so much. But back then, if you go for a walk, you just encountered stuff that you never saw before. And so bumping into ET, would that freak people out back then? No. And so what do you call it? Well, it's angels. It's God. It's from the heavens. It came from the stars. And, it was just something new, something that was experienced. And I think that had happened all the time. I don't think anybody was freaked out. Jimmy, I have a guitar for you for your birthday. Oh, you're in you're in Long Beach now? Oh, I saw your post about that. Yeah. Okay. When I get back from Peru, we'll get together. We will get together. Yeah. Do you like the Gibson Victory? I do. Yeah, I do. When is Cheryl Costa coming back on for an update? I got to get Cheryl back on the show. That's thank you. I was busy calling Johnny Carson. I'm just going backwards, everybody. And it was so funny when I was posting this thing. I closed out the window and it bounced me out of my own show. And that's what's great about the internet, the way that this show is produced. It doesn't stop. I may disappear, but the show itself doesn't stop. So, the feed and everything else that's going out, it never stops. Let me double check on something before I get out of here tonight. Yeah. Just making sure. Okay. I want to start a band when I get to LA. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers song. The Doug Aldrich Lion did the theme song for, was that Transformers? That was Mighty. I think they did Transformers. I think he did the Transformers theme song. I think that's what it was. It's on their album Power Love. It's like the bonus track. I think that's the album. I think that's it. How come my hair didn't turn? My hair is gray. I mean, it's not all gray. I mean, look at my face. Look at my sideburns are solid gray. That's solid gray. And if you look really close at my hair, there's so much gray. There is so much gray in this hair. Look at that. There's so much gray. You just don't see it from the front. There's so much gray. I am looking forward to having a full head of gray hair. It's like advancing in life and having that, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So back to, have you read or listened to Law of One? Yes, the raw material, all of it. There's so much of the Law of One. Look, all right. So the Law of One, and there's other things that are similar to the Law of One. Okay. But it seems to me that if you live your life in a correct and positive way, okay, in a correct and positive way, you're not mean to people, you're of service to others, you help when you can, You have a decent amount of empathy and you care. And then you just try to do the right thing as much as you can. That the laws of attraction, the law of one, and everything, all of that just falls into place. Yeah, all of it. You don't, I mean, yeah, reading the books and going through it. Okay. And, it takes a lot of time too, as well. But then to take it literally and all of that, you think too much, and it's taking away from your own minutes of your day, of your life. You can just put the book down and just decide that you're not going to be a dick anymore to anybody. And then all of that's bees are attracted to honey, and people would want to be around you, and it helps you think positively and to manifest your goals and where you want to go, because you're not bound by negativity or things that are around you. And the universe has a very strange way. If you give, everything is positive and negative. It's a balance and stuff. And so and so I do agree with most of the stuff that's in the law of one. I do. It bothers me when people quote from it and this, and where are they really living their life that way? Are they really doing that? Are they just saying it? Right. So I think that you really need to look at yourself. How are you? And it's hard being honest with yourself, not lying to yourself, not wearing that mask. You can wear that with other people. You do that when you go out in public. But if you are real to yourself, you don't need the law of one book. I mean, it's good. It's a reference. It gives you ideas. But yeah. And I'm being fritter and waste the hours in a day. Well, yeah. In an instrument-only song, 3.5 minutes of good drums, keyboard, and awesome guitar. I'm not sure, Jimmy. 3.5 minutes of good drums. Well, if you're asking if I like instrumental stuff, yeah, man. You know what I listened to the other day? It's been a minute. It's half instrumental, half vocals. Yngwie Malmsteen's album Trilogy. And Mark Bowles is the great singer, but the instrumental stuff that's on that is really good. Is really, really good. I want to look up something really quick. Okay. If you're going to go instrumental, and people, I get it. I get it. Joe Satriani, Jeff Beck, man, look at the Jeff Beck stuff. You can go and, Steve Vai and yes, I get it. I understand that. But Kiko Loureiro, and when I bring up Kiko Loureiro's name, and I do it all the time, and they go, "Oh, the Megadeth guy," Kiko Loureiro, yeah, he plays a Megadeth, but he plays a Megadeth because he gets paid. And Kiko, as an instrumentalist, and all of his stuff is some of the most adventurous stuff that the Aristocrats, and you go and you listen to that stuff, but they don't make, there's no money in that. How do you make a living doing what you love, like Kiko's instrumental stuff, and get paid for it? So Kiko is in Megadeth, which never made sense to me, except it's the paycheck. I get it. I totally get it. But he's not the Megadeth guy. And it was, I always looked at it. It's like Jeff Beck being in Megadeth, or, Steve Vai being in Megadeth. It doesn't make any sense, except you're getting a paycheck. Steve Vai and David Lee Roth's band, right? You're getting a paycheck, and you're able to do that. Did Steve Vai make a ton of money with Frank Zappa? No, but he's one of the best. And I love that instrumental stuff. And you go and you listen to Kiko. I'm glad that he's a Megadeth, so he can go and do his instrumental stuff. The Aristocrats, man, I don't know. I can't speak on this, but I bet you some of those guys have day jobs. Yeah. Jimmy, any new news on Alex Collier? Back in the day, Alex and some of I listened to his stuff, man. And when he was like in Big Bear or Lake Arrowhead, and he would do this stuff. This is many, 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 many years ago, about his encounters and his contact. And that guy used to just floor me. And then he got sick. I reached out to him and to have him on the show. And then he dropped out for a good 10 years. He's back. I would like to get Alex on the show. I would finally like to have a conversation with him. I mean, he was somebody that I really, really looked into for a long time. So Jimmy has a painting of himself that's growing old in his attic, just like Dorian Gray. Oh man. Oh, that's just amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. It's a song called Strange Ways. It's a channel intro on YouTube. Actually, I first heard of the channel called The Eye of Jupiter. Type it in. Okay, I'll check it out. So yeah, I mean, the journey, when you look at somebody like Alex Collier here, when I got on that plane in Indianapolis, okay, I'm sorry, a text came in. When I got on that plane from Indianapolis, I'm 20, 21 years old, and I fly to LA with those dreams in my head, which included doing what I'm doing now. That was always there. That was in the back of my mind. And I'm 21 and I'm teaching guitar at Pasadena Music Center on Colorado Boulevard, teaching guitar there. And I meet one of my students, Johnny Coutant. And so Johnny, I ended up leaving that music store and just teaching guitar out of my house. Okay. And so Johnny, one time, this is probably 84, 85, invites me to his house with his family for Thanksgiving dinner. Okay. Didn't have family in town. So I go. I meet his dad, Stan Coutant. Look him up. Stan taught radio and broadcast at PCC, which had an NPR station, KPPC. Still there. It's a famous station. And so we're sitting there. I've got long hair, man, having dinner. And Stan goes, "So Jimmy, your voice, you got something there. Have you thought about radio?" I'm like, "Dude, man, I'm a guitar player, man. But yeah, I have." And so, and this is before Art Bell, and there was KABC, what's his name? Dave Jenkins, or whatever his name was. And that show on Saturday nights here in LA. But I wanted to somehow do a radio show, and I thought that it would be so cool. Man, this is 85. Think about this. Where I could be like Leonard Nimoy, and I could, do something like that and talk about UFOs. Because my focus, guitar and my, and bands and stuff, that was there. But really the deep down side of me was broadcast. I somehow knew. I was watching everybody. You need to really understand this. I would watch the evening news just so I could look at how the broadcasters talked. I would listen to talk radio. I wouldn't listen to music on the radio. Very rarely. I would listen to talk radio, and I would study and listen. I was 20, 21 years old. And my friends were going to the beach or doing this or doing these things. And I was just so focused on practicing guitar and listening to talk radio and collecting videos. And that's where all of those things, like, people like Alex Collier or it's just this subgroup. And I would go out, and that's how I found Jacques Vallée and getting the book Communion and collecting and Omni magazine. And I just book after book after book after book, and trying to get videos and trying to watch what I could and stuff. But I never talked to my friends about it. But I knew somehow that there was something that was going to pop in the background, that I was going to do this. And when Stan Coutant planted that seed in my head, and I recently reached out to him, and he wrote me back, and it was pretty cool. And he was proud and so forth. But Stan, that little germ in the Petri dish, right? He planted that thing, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. But here's a guy that teaches this at PCC and runs the radio program there, and he had he heard something, and it confirmed to me that I wasn't wrong. Does that make sense? And so I knew that I was going to be okay. I would run this guitar thing as far as I could take it. And then after that, I would go and do this radio thing, and I would figure it out. And that's it. And so while doing that, that's where all of that, the subculture and the conferences and the people and the personalities that were happening in the 90s started to bubble to the surface. And Alex was one of them. David Serrata was another one. There were so many that were part of that, including Bill Cooper, William Cooper, and that whole sub thing. And then Art Bell comes along, and Coast to Coast happened, and I knew that everything was going to be just fine. So that's it. So I would love to have Alex on, because he was a big influence on me so many years ago, and his health kind of freaked me out there for a minute, but he's fine now, and he's back. So there you go. Well, listen, everybody, I had 72 8-tracks in my Chevelle. Okay, so anyway, I am, the Stargate in Giza. I want that to be true so bad. Good night, everybody. I will be gone for a couple of weeks. I'm going to live stream from Peru and Bolivia. I'm going to do some things with Brian Forrester live streaming too as well. I do want to remind everybody that Brian Forrester is going to be at the Conscious Life Expo in February. Yeah. So I want to do some live streaming with Brian about CLE. So yeah, I'll be back in December. Brian's going to turn around and come here to Los Angeles in February for the Conscious Life Expo. So I'm going to post all of this stuff. I'm going to go have some fun down there with Brian. I'm going to go see Peru and Bolivia for 2 weeks, and you're going to see all of that. And then you will have the opportunity to come to the Conscious Life Expo and meet Brian and ask him all the stuff. And he's also on one of my panels. So that's going to be really cool too as well. All right. So everybody have a great, safe, fun weekend. I won't be back on Monday, but I will be posting from Peru over the weekend and on Monday. I will see everybody. Our next live show. Should I tell you guys want to know? You want to know? I'm going to leak some secret information. Monday, December 2nd, I'm going to have, my guest is Dragon. That's right, Brian. Dragon from Skinwalker Ranch. He's going to be right here on Fade to Black. So until then, everybody just have a great, safe, fun 2 weeks while I'm gone. I'll see you Monday, December 2nd. And there you go. But for now, all I've got is Gobekli Tepe. I should say Puma Punku. I'll see you guys. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Special thanks to Bill, John, Dex, Jessica, Dennis, and Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2024 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Gobekli Tepe.